Hi FlossTube friends, it's Sherry, Colorado Cross Stitcher here on YouTube and also on Instagram, and I'm glad you're here today. This is my channel about cross stitching, and I'm glad that you came back if you've been here before, and if you're new here, a special welcome to you too. So it has been a while since I did my last video. I usually try and do them every 4 weeks, which would have been last week. And things are just crazy. I have a yarn shop called The Loopy U, and we're getting a new website. And for any of you guys in IT or web development, you know that's a big undertaking. So been working on that, and so we've just had a lot going on. Anyway, I have so much to show you today, and I'm gonna hope that it doesn't go too long, which is gonna relate to my question of the day at the end. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, so since we last talked, I've had both of my vaccinations for COVID, so I feel like I have a new level of freedom back. The first thing I did was go to the antique stores because I love antiquing, and we just haven't gone anywhere in a year. I mean, I go to work every day, you know, Paul and I both go to work every day, but other than that, you know, we do grocery pickup, and we just haven't gone and done things that I think I've been to Hobby Lobby twice, you know, frames and such. But other than that, we just have tried not to do stuff. So still masking up, of course, but I felt like after I was vaccinated, I could at least go to the antique store, and that was super fun. So, and then next week I'm getting my hair cut again, which it so needs, and highlights, which I have not had my hair this dark since ever. I don't think ever. Because I started getting highlights probably in my early 30s when my hair started going darker, and I got highlights for it to stay the same color of lightness or whatever. And so, yeah, I don't really like this dark hair. So I'm looking forward to that, actually getting a haircut and getting some lighter colors mixed in there a little bit. My hair is weird. I've got not the last time I got a haircut, probably a couple years ago, I was talking to my hairdresser, and I said, yeah, I know I've got a little bit of a colic right there. And she says, you don't have one colic, you have 7 colics in your hair. So my hair's always doing kind of weird things. So it'll be good to have a haircut next week. Okay, last time our question of the day was, what is the weather like in March where you live? And most of you have lovely, delightful spring weather with your flowers blooming and the temperatures warming. And I think the last time I did a video, I was saying we were expecting a lot of snow that night or that weekend. We ended up with 28 inches of snow. It was incredible. We actually had to close the shop for a day, which we've done twice in the 10 years we've been here in Colorado. We've never shut it down in St. Louis because we never got enough snow to do that. But so anyway, there was a lot of snow. We had a lot of broken branches, broken trees, which is always really sad because it was so heavy and wet. And we are still having snow because we woke up this morning with snow on the ground. So I'm a little jealous of all of you with your beautiful flower pictures. My FlossTube friend Renee sent me pictures today of flowers blooming in Iowa, and that was just so fun to see. So I love Colorado and I love snow, but I am done with it by April. So I'm ready for it to not snow. And you know, they say around here, don't plant your seeds until after Mother's Day. Well, we've had snow after Mother's Day. In fact, I think last year we had snow the week after Mother's Day. So you just never know. But then we'll have a 70-degree day in January. So it is really, I mean, it's really beautiful weather. We have sunshine over 300 days a year. So I can't complain. I just am tired of snow by the time April gets here. All right, well, let's talk about stitching because I have gotten a ton of stitching done just because it's been an extra week since I talked to you guys. So my plan was, well, here I'm going to go in order, so it's not in order of my notes. So I wanted to work on my All Creatures Great and Small. You know, this is a pattern I bought probably 3 years ago because I just loved it. Do you ever feel like when you're starting in on a pattern, sometimes you feel like, I'm finally going to get this in my house? I mean, you envision that when you buy the pattern, you hope that you'll get it done, but once you start making progress, it's just so exciting knowing that you really are going to get that beautiful piece of work in your home. So I just made one small addition on this so far. Otherwise, no changes on this. I'm doing this on 25 count potato Lugana. You know, Lugana is one of my favorites. Let me hold it up. And I'm stitching it with the DMC Colors 1/1. And so I did, let's see, I think the bottom, the two sections right and left on the bottom, and then I did the corn stalks there, that middle section, and then I did the outline of the border all the way around that. The only thing I added here, so let's see if I can, up in this section, you see there's a heart over there on top of the cow, because I was working on that on Valentine's Day, so I did a heart. And then over here by the corn stalks, I stitched that rabbit on Easter. So it's just kind of fun to remember the days I was working on that. And I was going to stop after I got a couple of sections done, and for some reason I was in the mood to do a border. I don't know where that came from, because I'm usually never in the mood to do a border, but I thought I might as well jump on it when I can. So I still have all the leaves. It's going to be a lot more stitching on here, but at least the border's done. A lot of times when I do a border like this, I do half stitches all the way around, because if your ends don't meet up, that's half the ripping out you have to do. And I even do that now. I'm stitching with DMC this time, but I even do that when I'm stitching with overdyes. I stitch with a hoop, I use the sewing method, and I tend to go down a row and come back even with overdyes, because I don't like the splotchy look of stitching full X's as you go along, unless it's something that really needs that kind of, I think I'll show you on the G Leger what I mean about that. Sometimes the color changes so much that if you go down half stitches and come back and cross them, they look funny because they're so different. You know, it's like maybe there's 3 colors in that particular floss, and I don't do all the way down and all the way back when I'm doing that, but normally I do that just to kind of mix the colors up. So that's just a tip when you're doing borders. If you do the whole border in the half stitch, then you can just go back and cross all the stitches. And the nice thing about that is, for me it seems faster, because I'm paying attention to the pattern, of course, when I'm doing the half stitches all the way around, but then when I go back and cross them all, I don't have to look at the pattern at all because I know where I'm going. So I love doing that. So this has been fun to work on. I hope to get it done by the next video, but we'll see. I have a lot to work on for the next video, before the next video. So let me get a drink of water because I feel like I'm going to cough on you. All right. And the next thing I worked on, well, I had a start, so I'm just going to show you the start. And this is another one where I thought, I bought it and I thought, oh, I would love to have that. I hope I do that. Not that I ever buy things and think I might not do it, but you know, this is another big project. With the Needle 2 by Lila's Studio. And I started that this week. But look how, I'm doing this on 40 count, let me see, hang on. 40 count weathered shingle from R&R. Look how long it's going to be. I mean, it is a big piece, even on 40 count. I loved the side border. I am not liking the bottom border. In fact, I just stopped stitching last night because I just was impatient with it. I don't know, I wasn't in the mood to be counting that. So I just stopped. I might put this away, or I might work on another part of it. But it's going to be beautiful, and I'm really excited to do it and excited to get it done. And my friend Cindy, I'm trying to think of what her floss or her Instagram name is, Lucinda something, is doing this with me. and we're using the hashtag #WithTheNeedle2SAL. So if you want to join us, that would be really fun. I'd love to see other people doing this and watch their progress too. All right, then my gilet, and I have made some changes on this, and I wanted to talk about that because I've been thinking about that since, I don't know, well, you know, I think it was on my second floss tube that was a question of the day. Do you use the designer or the stitcher's original name and keep that all just like she stitched it when you stitch a piece, or do you substitute in family names or your name or other names that are meaningful to you? And I think, if I remember correctly, you guys answered, maybe a third of you changed the names out and 2/3 of you said, no, I keep the original and I stitch it just as it was. Well, I am not a reproductionist stitcher. I am just a sampler, average sampler stitcher. And it is more meaningful to me to have things framed that I have made personal to me or our family. I will love, I guess, because I just started doing this. I think I'm going to love having my grandma's names on different pieces that I do, and Paul's grandma's names on different pieces that we do, and our grandfather's names. And it just makes it so personal to me and to our family. So that's kind of where I fall on this. I was watching Daleen So Grateful's latest video, and she talks about this a little bit too. She is kind of like me, where she inserts different family names that are meaningful to her. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to this. When I change patterns, it's just, it's fun. I don't do it automatically. I don't think, how can I change this? I just, as I'm stitching it, if I think of something or a way to make it more personal, I add that in there. So, but anyway, that's my thought on that, because I did change gilet, and I'm going to show you that. So here's where I am. So I feel like I got a lot done. Here, let me stand up. I feel like I got a lot done. So I got the whole border done. And then at the bottom, under the pear, I stitched my grandmother's name with her maiden name and her married name. And then under the apple, I stitched her place of birth and the year. And I love having her name on here. I'm going to love seeing that framed. Now, I still, when I do these samplers, I still plan to include the original stitcher's name. And so under the Eiffel Tower, let's see, can you see that? I put gilet and the year, right? Yes, also the year. So I still want to do that, but I also want to include family names. So this past time I did the alphabet and the numbers at the top. I did the borders, the side borders, and the top border. And if you watched my last video, you know that I accidentally messed up the bottom border, because some of those divisions between the groupings are 6 stitches and some are 7. And I counted a few and they were all 6s, so I was just zipping along and then realized that wasn't the way it was stitched. So luckily I did remember to copy it again on the top. And you know, somebody mentioned last time, you know, these girls were what, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, whatever, stitching. They were young girls stitching. They were probably stitching with not very good light. And of course there are going to be a lot of little irregularities like that, where sometimes 6, sometimes 7, they got to talking, or they were listening to their dad read a story or whatever. And so that's totally understandable. I have so many things I want to stitch that if I can simplify something and not have to follow along on the pattern and count, is this a 6 or is this a 7-1? If I can just make them all 6s and make them a little uniform, then to save time, that's what I'm going to do. So I have 2 more rows of the fancy letters to do, and then this will be finished. So that's another one that I'm hoping to get done by next month, FlossTube. I don't know, that's 2 big projects, but if I get 2 done, that means I get to start more, so that's all good. All right, I did finish my Smith sampler. I love this so much. It was interesting because I was finishing it the same Sunday, I think it was a Sunday, that Cindy C. Stitches on Facebook, Instagram was finishing hers. She started hers January 1st like I did, and she finished it on the same day, and she said something about being a little sad that it was finishing. And you know, I'm usually so happy to have things coming to an end because I can't wait to get it framed and put up on the wall. But I felt the same way about this pattern. I don't know, I just felt a little sad that day. And when I read that, I thought, yeah, me too. So the only thing I changed in this one is the basket. So I'll show you what the basket looks like here with a white, it's a white basket with the name Smith stitched in there. And I changed it to have colors in there that mimic the colors and the triangles in the border. So, such a fun stitch, and I'm so happy that I finished it and I get to frame it and I get to have it on my wall forever. Now this is one where I did not include a family name just because there was no big space for a family name already on the pattern, and I didn't want to take any of these things out in order to add it. So I just stitched it as is, except for that basket in the middle. This is one of those patterns, you know, they're all like that because you're seeing it in one dimension versus a dimensional, but they look so much prettier in person, and this is so much prettier in person. It's just a beautiful, beautiful pattern. I did this on, let me look, my Gilet was on Winter Morn 36 count Edinburgh with a silk conversion from the attic, and this one is, where did I put that? I think this is Vintage Meadow Rue. I'm not sure, and I did not write that down. And it is using the called for silks. I'll have to look up what the fabric was. So that one can now be taken to the framer. All right, and then I finished some littles. So I finished this one, which I had just started the last time by Brenda Gervais. And I shared the story about the robins outside our bedroom window. And I just finished that in a frame that I already had. And that was a fun one. And then, oh, I did another little, not a little. You know, I've been doing some real small ones, which I don't know what I did with that. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I did this, and this is a freebie that I will link below from the Primitive Hare called Love Never Fails, and I did not print it out in color. And I changed it because I really wanted to use this pretty teal color, and using teal did not seem to lend itself to 1881. So I just did this and made a heart in there instead. And I love how it turned out. And I just did this, I think it's on 28 count, 1/1 on 28 count, and I used sulky because I bought several different colors of sulky thread for doing some 1/1s or some, yeah, 1/1s on 36, and I wanted to use that color. So that's just a little, I call these tuckables because I can tuck them in a little cubby or I can tuck them on a shelf. And so this is just a little tuckable that I have. And I will, again, link to that pattern. And then I had this one that I showed you the last time, and I'm going to cover it. But it is a freebie from Lottie Da called Hand and Heart. And this is 1/1 on 32 count. So this is little. Let me see if I can hold this up for you. So I framed it this time. Let's see. Can you see that? Hopefully that focused. And I love that one. So I'll find a fun little place to hang that. So that got framed this time. I had a whole day of finishing in the sewing room. And then I showed you this one last time from Country Rustic Primitives. I think she's on Etsy. So I had finished stitching it, and then I finished it into a little pin pillow. I'm not really excited about this trim, and I'll tell you why when I show you my haul. But I love having it finished, and as always, I do a heart on the back, and I stitch around it for the closure because Vanna, I'm sure I learned that from Vanna because I watched her finishing tutorials. I always watch her finishing tutorials. Vanna the Twisted Stitcher, if you're ever wondering how to finish anything, look her up. And she likes doing a opening in the back because then you can get the points on your corners and your edges smoother, and I totally agree with that. So I finished that. This is a Blackbird, and I do not know what it is, what the name of the pattern is, but I had stitched it last time on some blue, and I think it's 32 count because I'm pretty sure I used double threads, 2 threads. So I just finished this off, put some buttons over here, and a heart on the back. So that's another little finish. Here's another one that I framed with a frame that I had from Hobby Lobby by Brenda Gervais. Souvenirs of the Heart. And this is a small one, so I must have done this on, I think I did this on 32 count over 1. I'm not sure. It's small. And I remember it taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to take to stitch. I think I stitched it last summer. But it's good to have it framed. I'm glad to have that one done. I think that is all the finishes that I did, but I did get 4 framed pieces back from Sherry at Country Crafts in Greeley, and that was really exciting. And I put them up on my sampler wall. On my sampler wall is, you know, I told you before, this house is open concept. It's got tall ceilings. It doesn't have a lot of delineation for different rooms, so we don't have a lot of wall space. And Paul is a photographer, and I love his photography, and we have that on a lot of our walls, and I have no desire to take any of that down. So I've got a wall that's probably this big, not that wide, and I'm going to fill it up pretty soon, and then I'm going to have to come up with a plan B. But I will make sure that we put a picture of that wall, how it's looking now with these 4 additions on it, at the beginning of this video, so hopefully you already saw that. So the first one that I got framed was this, Brenda Keys. Gosh, I love Brenda Keys patterns. I have 2 more that I'm dying to make. Need to get at it. And I made this on 40 count. Oh, I'm just not good at remembering. Let's see if I added it to my instruction. 40 count mallow. Okay, because remember that I do the library cards on the back with all of the information. And I'm going to link to that. I have them here somewhere. I'm not going to crinkle. I'm going to link to that below because it's like $15.99 for 100 pockets and library cards. And so I write all the information, the pattern name, and any changes I made, and all of that information on the back. So here it is on the front, framed. I do always get glass on my frames. I know a lot of people don't. It feels like it's gonna stay, I don't know, more preserved. It just feels more finished to me, I don't know. So that was a fun one. I love having this one done. There's a lot more stitching in this than you would think, because look at that border. That's all filled in behind the letters. And then that bottom is solid too. So it took me a lot longer than I was thinking, but it was a fun one to do. This one is a Brenda Gervais pattern. I'm gonna hope that we don't have glare. And so she did this on light fabric with dark letters, and I wanted to do mine on dark fabric with light letters. And I did not write down what fabric because this was before I was floss tubing, but here it is framed, and I love how this turned out. And there's not that many colors in this pattern, and I think I simplified them even more because I think she probably used more colors for the berries, and I just used one color. So I just picked colors that worked. I picked a white that I liked, and then I made the house darker so that would show up, and it was really fun. And I love this frame because for some reason it feels really old-fashioned to me. So this feels like some framed kind of a thing that would have come out of my grandparents' house. So I love this one. And then Feast of Friendship, a blackbird pattern. And instead of Feast of Friendship, I put Peace and Plenty in mine, and I changed the color of the initials down there. Honestly, I didn't love stitching this. Well, I loved stitching the house. I did not love stitching the basket of fruit, and I think I prefer bolder colors, or, well, that's not true because I like subtle colors too. I don't know. I just didn't. I started with the bowl of fruit. I wasn't really excited about it, but I really love the color of that house, and I love the orange roof on the house. So that's a really fun one. I'm glad to have that one done. And then the last one I had framed is out of Sweet Land of Liberty, and it's one of my, well, it was one of my favorites when I finished it, and now I've finished other ones that I love just as much. So, but this book is worth its weight in gold. It's the only thing I've stitched out of this so far, but I mean, I want to stitch everything in this book, almost everything in this book. This one, how fun is that? I really want to do that, maybe this summer for the 4th of July. And then this one would be a fun companion piece to that. So that's going to be a fun one to do. And then this little one, I'm not going to do it in a round, I'm going to do it in a square, but that one's really cute, and that's not even that big. Aren't the buntings cute on the windows, and then the long flag? So that is another one I want to do. So this is a great book. If you don't have it, hopefully you do have it because buy all the blackbirds, but if you don't, you might look for it. So this is Sweet Land of Liberty, is it called? No, it's not called that. It's called Salute to Abigail. And I did not make any changes on that, I don't believe. And I love it. Oh, I did change the thread because I used Victorian Model Sampler threads because there's only 4 colors. And I'm always looking for ways to use my beautiful supply of that thread. So, yeah, love it. So happy to have these framed. So, those were a lot of fun finishes, which means I have a lot of plans for next time. So I want to finish my Gilet So I only have those 2 rows of alphabet letters. I'd like to finish all creatures. I'm hoping I can do that. And then I want to work on, Brenda and Laura have a Blackbird stitching weekend coming up, virtual. You don't have to go anywhere. The first weekend in May. I cannot remember the hashtag, but of course you watch their videos, so you'll get it from there. This is the one that I want to do, that I want to work on that weekend. I love that checkerboard house, and it's from this book, The Bells on Christmas Day. And I am using a piece of Luminous Fiber Arts that Misty sent me. Let's see what this is. 40 count sparrow. Gorgeous piece. I love the modeling on that. And these are the colors. So that is going to be my Blackbird project for Blackbird Stitch Along Weekend. And I hope you guys are joining in on that. That'll be fun, coming up pretty soon. And gosh, I want to get back to my Quaker. Remember my Quaker piece that I started at Christmas time? And it's not because it's not Christmas time, because a lot of this is just motifs, so I'm not going to mind stitching on it. Of course, now I've had it folded up, sorry, not ironed. But look at that, that's so fun. It's a long piece, and I've got a lot of work to do, but I really want to be working on this. And you know, there are a lot of people, and I think Lori Holt started this, where she puts in 1 or 2 thread lengths of red thread a day in her red sampler. I really could consider this my red sampler until I get that finished. And then of course I have alphabet pieces I want to do in red too. So, but if I just adapted that process, if I could work some time out before I have to go to work in the mornings, I might be able to do that. Okay, so that is my plan. Now, haul. I have 3 things to share, and I have question of the day and the winners from the last drawing left to do. All right, so haul. Well, I only have, I think, 1 pattern. 2 patterns, never mind. And then fabrics. So I got Hannah Hetherington from the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. What I love about this is all of the blues, and I particularly love that long piece on the bottom, right on the bottom. Because on my sampler wall, I want a lot of different shapes and sizes, and a lot of the samplers end up being squares or long rectangles, and so that bottom piece is going to be so pretty, and the blue colors in this sampler are just gorgeous and what drew me to this. So I got that. Look forward to that. This is one that I've wanted for a long time. Another long, big sampler, and I know you guys have all seen this by Needlework Press. In all things, be exceedingly diligent. But it should go pretty fast because a lot of it is just letters. And again, I love the different shape. That's going to be a really pretty long piece that's going to be fun to work on. So those were my, oh, sorry, I should have taken this out of plastic. Okay, I got these 2 fabrics. Let me see if there's a label. I think it's Fiber on a Whim. Glasses. Hang on just a second. Let me look at this so I can tell you for sure. No, Seraphim Fabrics. Okay, the fabric itself is lovely. I didn't end up liking either of these colors overly much. This was a little more yellow than I thought, but it's beautifully dyed. And it feels wonderful. And let's see if there's a name on this. This is Bee's Knees, 40 count, which I had seen on somebody else's video, which is why I ordered it. And then this is Chai, 40 count, also much pinker than I thought it would be. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with it. But again, beautifully dyed. I love the subtle dyeing on this, and I'm just not sure. Pink. What do you do on pink? Give me some ideas. What could I stitch on pink? And what could I stitch on this yellow? It's almost as yellow as it's showing up on there. It's pretty yellow. I thought it was more tan from the pictures. So again, beautiful fabrics, beautiful dyeing, just not really excited about either of those colors, but I will figure something out with them. And then I had to order fabric from Kitten Stitcher, because I think she was the only one that still had it by this time. Did you guys make gum chains when you were growing up? My friends and I loved making gum chains. In fact, I still have it somewhere, and I was going to get it out and show you I'll show you sometime. But this fabric is perfect because it's gum chains. I remember in 4th grade, I took my gum chain to school because my friends and I would work on them at recess. That seems a little nerdy, but we would work on them at recess. And there was this kid in my class, this boy who was just kind of obnoxious, and he got my gum chain and he just started ripping it. And I was so frustrated, and the teacher did nothing. Went and told her, and she just didn't stop him from doing that. And there's not really an easy way to repair. We were all going for how long we could make our gum chains. It was like 5 feet long or something. This kid was just ripping it apart. I still have issues with that apparently. Okay, and then the other fabric I got is this button fabric, which I just love. Somehow I'm going to have to find somebody to make me project bags out of these, because I'm not confident in my project bag making skills. And then I got 40 count light nougat from her. That's beautiful, isn't it? Who's that by? I don't know who dyed that. Maybe it's one of her dyes. This is also a little pinky, but not quite as pinky as the other one. I'll find something pretty to put on that. This was fabric time. Okay, and then from 123 Stitch, one of the things I like about them is they have a lot of remnant pieces or smaller pieces, so you can buy a little piece of it and see if you like it. And you know how much I love 25 count Lugana, because I love stitching 1 over 1. So I bought 4 colors of 25 count Lugana. So this is mushroom. Let's see, a 13 by 18 piece. And then a 9 by 13, which a lot of theirs is 9 by 13. And this is Victorian red. Isn't that a beautiful red? I love finding Lugana, 25 count Lugana in different colors. This is Stormy Night. I'm sure this is a printed piece. Yes. So this is a printed piece. That's pretty. Oh, it's hardly showing up. How's that? Maybe a little better back here. It's a really soft, subtle gray blue. It's not blue enough that I think it would be distracting. I don't like blue necessarily. And then more potato Lugana, because that is one of my favorites. So that is my haul. Except for, no, that's not my haul, but this is one of my 3 things. Also, I ordered a bunch of trims from Dames of the Needle. Like a bunch of trims. Lots of trims. Pom-poms and chenille. And I apparently didn't read close enough, because some of this chenille is mini. I don't know if it must have been labeled mini. Let me see if it says it on here. No, it just says chenille. I don't like this little tiny chenille. I like the bigger chenille. Because when I did this Grace pillow, I had to go around 3 times with that little chenille to make it as thick and pretty as I wanted it to be. So, not a big fan of this. The colors are beautiful. I do love the colors, and so all of that is good. And then, as I always do, I take a little snippet of it and staple it to the card with the name on it, and then keep all of those on a ring, which I've shared this idea with you before. But that way you can always go through, and if you need to order more of that color, or you need to know what this color is because you need more of that, you've got it there. So I just keep all of these on a ring, and it's a good reference guide for trims. All right, now I want to tell you about 3 things quick. The first one is new floss tuber that I enjoyed, tubers. It's a duo called Two Tall Stitchers, and I was immediately drawn to their name because I'm also a tall stitcher. I'm 5'11", so sometimes when people meet me, they're like, "You're so tall," and I'm sure that Jennifer and Carol get that too. It's a mother-daughter duo, and I've just watched their first one, and I need to check back and see if they have a second one up yet, but they're delightful to watch, so give them a listen. I will link to them below. Then the second thing I want to tell you about to share is, look at how cute these strawberries are. This is from Under the Woolen Willow, Michelle. The fun thing about ordering from Michelle is you get this cute paper clip, which I just have like envied when Brenda shows her planner, and she's got all these very cute little paper clips on the top because she's ordered from Sweet Michelle too. So love these strawberries, and I just checked. I will link to those below, but she does have some in stock, and so these are adorable. That'll be fun for dough balls. So that's number 1 thing I want to share. No, that's number 2. Number 1 was Two Tall Stitchers. Number 3 is, and this I learned about from Teresa Kogut, is nuts.com. And I saved the box because how cute is the box? Look. I hope you're hungry. Warning, yummy goodies inside. And let's see, our whole family is nuts. Yeah, this is really fun. So I ordered from them, and they have a lot of really good things. So I'm going to show you a few of them. Well, I got Marcona almonds because Marcona almonds are awesome. Their dried fruit is wonderful. So these are dried peaches. They have all different kinds of dried fruits, all different kinds of nuts. Then they have seasonings that are good. So this is garlic and herb seasoning. If you want to put it on your chicken breasts or different kinds of meat. And then also this one, the chicken rub, which I've already gone through 1 bag of this, so I had to order more, and this is really delicious. Let's see, what is this one? Nut crumbs. Okay, this was new. I haven't tried this yet, but I thought nut crumbs sounded good for meat or breading things or mixing in with veggies or what have you. So yeah, and they're fun packages. It's fun to send as gifts. They arrive in like 2 or 3 days. I mean, they're immediate shipping. Now, the only thing I didn't like is I ordered their premium hot chocolate because you know how I'm always trying to find the world's best hot chocolate? Well, I found it. It's Insomnia hot chocolate in Ireland, but you know, that's not very doable when you live in Colorado. So I'm always trying to replicate that, and they had great reviews on this premium hot chocolate on nuts.com. So I ordered it. I tried a cup. I didn't like it. Paul tried a cup. He didn't like it. We threw the rest away. And so you get a follow-up email, I don't know, a couple days after, asking how everything was, and I just said everything was great. We didn't care for the hot chocolate, but everything else was good. And they refunded my money, which I didn't expect and didn't ask for or anything. So it was really nice. So they have great customer service, and everything I've tried there has been really good except for the premium hot chocolate. But you know what? There are a lot of people who love it, so I might just be in the minority. Okay, so I have winners from last time. Last time we had these 3 Cricut collection booklets from donated from my mom for the giveaway, and the winner of the rabbits is Ruth Bartholomew. So Ruth Bartholomew, if you get a hold of me, my email address is in the drop box below. Let me know your address and I will get these mailed out to you. And then my FlossTube friend Renee donated these adorable patterns from Country Cottage Needleworks. And so these 3 patterns are going to MJ McCarney. MJ McCarney. So MJ, if you can get a hold of me and let me know your address, I will mail these off to you. So congratulations to both of you for winning that. And then I'm going to do a giveaway this time to my shop. Now my shop is a yarn shop called the Loopy U, E-W-E, like the female sheep, the Loopy U. We've had the Loopy U since 2006, so we're celebrating 15 years this summer, right? And so I'm going to give you a $25 gift certificate. Now, it's full of yarn. It's a yarn shop. There's no cross-stitching. But we have gorgeous project bags. We have very fun journals and notebooks and pencils and stickers from Cavallini. And we have other fun accessories, scissors, and those kinds of things that stitchers use too. So I'm going to do a $25 gift certificate to the Loopy U. And if you would like to be entered into that drawing, use the word loopy in your comments. L-O-O-P-Y, loopy. And of course, don't mention giveaway, don't mention drawing. You have to be 18 or older to win. All of that regular stuff too. So, all right, that's it. Now I have a mess on my table to clean up once I make sure that this recorded properly. Wouldn't that be a bummer to go through the whole thing and it didn't record? I see the little bar moving as I talk, so I'm crossing my fingers. Anyways, hopefully it will be just 4 weeks until I'm back with you again. We won't do another 5-week stint unless things go crazy around here. But I already look forward to seeing you again and talking to you soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.